Okay. Oh, okay, and so I woke up at 5. It's just a relief. When I joined college, it was a real shock as compared to school in terms of how much work I was expected to do. But I mean, some of the beliefs that I had by that point, they also facilitated this. But that shock, I ended up enjoying it. I felt like I was pushing my limits every day and surprising myself with what all I could do. It was just amazing. It was like you're playing a game and you're setting a high score every single day. And you could notice yourself progressing, even in smaller ways, like finishing your readings quicker. But I believe that I kind of let go of the idea that we have limits during that phase, and maybe I did reach my limit, or maybe I disregarded certain things as I went on, trying to push myself more and more and more and more, and eventually disregarding other things for that, such as whether work is enjoyable, whether I need a break or not. Just trying to improve by pushing myself and not taking into consideration that slow progress might be beneficial in the long term. Although I would say that I wasn't necessarily wrong to have that kind of a perspective, that we should push ourselves and continue pushing ourselves and not define ourselves to an extent where we set boundaries for ourselves. For example, we might say that, oh, I need a break, I really need a break after a day of work. But you might not, there are many times when I feel tired, but I get down to working anyways, and I'm just surprised at the energy that I have still remaining, even though I felt earlier that I was tired. So you might not need a break, Need is a tricky word to use. I do consider it admirable, and I do consider it a proper feat, what I did, and the approach that I had before, and what all I accomplished with it. That was not easy at all. It was very, very difficult, and I admire myself, and I consider myself very cool to have gone through all that. I think that's very epic, and I by no means mean to demean the value in that. That approach does have a value in experimentation. So yes, that approach also has value, In my mind, it seems like the value is to at least be aware of your limits, being capable of pushing yourself to that point so that you're aware that, okay, right now my limits are there. After this challenge, I am beginning to feel like a focus on sustainability, I have the impression that it has improved my life. Even work, dare I say, seems a little more satisfying now. Dare I say, let me just touch wood right there. That's just mind-blowingly amazing. And I do plan on continuing with this routine of blocking out time and then just working in that time frame. And I have been while working on this video also. In the future in general, I will keep in mind the various course corrections that I did throughout the challenge, related to sleep, related to making days enjoyable. This kind of a routine helps in compartmentalizing what you do well. Earlier I used to have the approach of keep working on it from day to night. Even when I'm not directly working on it, I would try and, if I'm talking to someone, discuss about it, explain to them, try and organize my thoughts, encourage thinking about it in me. And I used to think that would help in being done with the project sooner rather than later. But now I'm entertaining the idea, after this challenge, that it might be better to keep that thinking limited to a time frame so that you don't burn out. It also helps with doing focused work. You have a limited amount of time in which you will do nothing except for work. And I think that this distraction-free, only work kind of a time frame, it makes you more efficient, you know. Your mind isn't at two places, it's only at one, and it does that one very well. I have also noticed that I become more and more involved in the work, and maybe my attention gets more focused as the hours go by. There's also the aspect that, you know, you are pushing your limits, and that's not always fun. You might think that in the medium term, which might seem the long term to you, but in the medium term, this struggle, this suffering, it will pay off because you'll get a good grade, or you'll improve, you'll be able to explore more, you'll develop transferable skills, all these things, you know. You might think that eventually things will get better. But it might also be important to take into consideration that in the true long term, we are all going to die. And this life that we have, if it's miserable all the time in expectation of some reward in the future, is that really how we want to live? But in my response to that was, no man, I would like to enjoy my life. And if I can work while making it enjoyable, that seems like a very good bet. Maybe even teach me about whatever you have to say about anything that I've said in this video. Let me know. I mean, even if you think that I'm wrong in certain places, I would love to hear you out and correct myself if I'm wrong. That is pretty much it. That's the challenge completed, and that's me documenting whatever I did in that time on YouTube. Let me know whatever you thought about the video in the comments. Like it if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Just let me know what it was that you disliked. That would be quite helpful. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you'd consider it. But I just appreciate you dropping by the video. You know, that's already a lot. I appreciate it enough. Just that. And yes, you know, perhaps see you in the future. Thank you for watching.